Hey there, Pickle Peeps, and welcome back to The Handmade How. Today we have Nicola Couzens here on The Handmade How, all the way from across the pond. Wow! So excited to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on the channel, Nick.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're gonna have such fun. So Nick is absolutely amazing. You've been in business for 10 years now? Over?
Getting on for 10 years. Coming on for 10 years. In my current business.
Yeah, that's that decade mark. That is a powerhouse mark in business. Whoa. That's when you start throwing real business birthday parties.
Yeah.
Is that 10 years?
There might have to be cake this year.
Yes. Totally doing cake. All right. So Nick has been in business for 10 years and you are the owner of Chromabeads, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And just like in her shirt right now, like Nick is obsessed with color and bringing color to the beading and jewelry world.
Yeah, don't do black, white, and grey. It's color all the way.
That's a tagline. Forget about black, white, and gray.
I'm gonna have to write that one down.
That's pretty good. Okay. So again, thank you, Nick, for being here on the channel. And we're here today to talk about coming up on 10 years in business. That's amazing. I know I am as well. In May will be 10 years for me in business. And just as you come in, it's funny, in business, you feel like you conquer one thing and then you realize there's this whole mountain of other things to conquer and deal with.
Oh, yes.
It's important to take our wins when we get them because there's a whole minefield following afterwards. And the longer you are in business, the more you come to realize how important education is. Would you agree with that, Nick?
100%. Yes. The day you stop learning is the day you might as well just give it all up. Things change all the time and you just have to change with them, and you have to figure out the best ways of doing that. And why learn it all for yourself when somebody else has already trod that path in front of you?
That is advanced techniques right there, especially here in the handmade world. I don't know if you guys are this way, Pickle Peas, drop in the comments if you're anything like me, and that I thought I had to learn everything on my own. When I started in business, it took a very, very, very long time. I still fight the urge to hand it off and delegate and find the master coach, find the other person I could hire to do it for me instead of just sitting down and spending weeks and months doing it myself.
I think some people think it's kind of a weakness to need to ask for help, but actually it gets you, if it took somebody else a year to do it, you could probably do it in the next 3 weeks because they're going to tell you how to do it. Mm-hmm. Just makes sense.
And they've learned it and they've mastered it. Yes. And so all that to say that we are here to talk a little bit about Bootcamp. So Nick is one of our amazing alumni of the 2022 Biz Fit Bootcamp, where we looked at the whole year. And I might have wanted to hear your Bootcamp story, Nick. What were things like for you? What brought you into our world over here?
Okay. Well, we've said I've been in business for 10 years, but in actual fact, it kind of feels like most of my selling, I sell beads and jewelry making supplies, and most of it I've done up to now through eBay. And that was all going along fine and dandy. I've really mastered mastered that algorithm, and I was doing really well. And COVID came along and actually I did even better. More people shopping online, more people having time at home to do crafts and things. And quite a few people taking the opportunity to start up a little jewelry business. If you can't go to work, then figure out Etsy or wherever you're going to sell it. And yeah, so for all sorts of reasons, 2020 was going really well. And then last year, eBay decided to change the way that they worked with sellers in the UK, probably over in the States as well. And what it made me realise, it was a real big kick in the teeth. And I realized I didn't have a business. I had an eBay store. And all the things that I've been hearing all over the place, you need an email list, you need to have your own platform, not be beholden to somebody else. Oh my God, have I learned that the hard way? So I spent probably 6 months of last year, 2021, thinking, right, okay, so I need a website. I need to really focus on email list. I need to get onto social media. I hadn't done any of those things because it was all just about selling on eBay.
And eBay was the one sending you the traffic at that point.
Absolutely. And you pay your fees for that. You know you're paying your fees for that, and that's great. But then they changed the fee structure and the whole game changed. And it wasn't pretty. So, yeah, I knew I had to do all these things, but it was just completely like overwhelming. Just, I've got about 5,000 SKUs, some of which you can see behind me.
5,000. Hey.
5,000, something around about that. And yeah, this whole thing of like creating a website and putting 5,000 products on it, and all at the same time, I'm having to think, but I've still got to try and make as much money as I can on what I've got, my eBay shop, because it's not just me. I actually have somebody else that works with me. So I feel really responsible for her, as well as, you know, her income as well as my income. And me making a big mistake, like, you know, all your eggs in one basket, I just felt absolutely just so guilty that, oh my God, this is awful. And it's not just awful for me, it's a bigger deal than that.
When
employees, so yeah,
on you.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was to say, when employees depend on you, when your family depends on you, when you depend on that stable level of income and you have an expectation. It's like we get into business not to be poor. Nobody goes into business that with a desire to be poor.
No.
We want the freedom, we want the success, we want the accomplishment. Let people look forward to that responsibility of you're not just taking care of yourself and your family, but taking care of other families who are having employees. Absolutely. That's how we change the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And while money isn't the only factor, you know, driving me in my business, I'm kind of wanting to help also other people to make their living. Like I say, people that have decided that they're going to make and sell their own jewelry. I really want to be helping them to do that. I can't do that if I go out of business in the meantime. Yeah, so second half of 2021, I was just knowing I needed to do all this stuff, and I started trying to learn a bit about social media. I'd never been on Instagram or anything like that. I hadn't even been on Zoom calls or video, or the idea of that just terrified me.
Pre-COVID, I don't think anyone was on Zoom. So no, that one's all right.
No, that's, yeah, but I hadn't, the idea of being, I don't like having my photo taken. So the idea of being on video was a bit terrifying. And so I was trying to learn some of these things and just feeling complete, where do I start? What do I do first? Complete overwhelm. And then I found you guys and heard about Bootcamp and thought, let's give this a go.
It's so hard when that task list is just a mile long and it gets to the point where you can't tell, like, what are the priority items to work on? Where do I even start? Do I start on number 1? Do I start on number 10? Do I start on number 572? I don't know.
I think it was even worse than that. I didn't even necessarily know what I needed to write down on the list. And every time I thought about that, it just became overwhelming. And where do I start? Yeah, it was completely.
To me, it kind of feels like, and let me know if this analogy works for you here. But it's kind of like, if anyone's seen Harry Potter, the first one, and but there's that giant brick wall, and like every one of those bricks is something that you should be doing in your business. It's some facet of the business, this whole wall. And then Hagrid goes and he taps on the right, like 1, 2, 3, and once those 3 things are hit, it's like those 3 things are done, then the whole wall opens up and you have the entrance into the magical world. But it's like, what are the 3 things?
Except in business, it's 27 things.
Yes. So you can't do 27 things at once. You got to pick like the top. What are the first couple of things to do? But it's that whole like it is that way. And like the more that we build up about it, and I don't know about you, but like if I put stuff off, and that just makes the wall build more and more and more until then what perhaps was clear to work with before, I've worked myself into the corner that's like, I don't know what to do.
On top of that, I do also have a couple of health challenges, and the more I get stressed, the more it triggers headaches and migraines, and the more headaches and migraines, I start feeling even more out of control, and then everything just seems completely overwhelming, and it's a self-perpetuating cycle. Sometimes it really does feel like it's hard to make any headroom. Did you just hear that?
Yes, I did. What was that?
Sorry, that was Alexa just decided to have a little word.
I just heard like
perhaps I'll just unplug her. There we go. She's not going to bother us again now.
Yes, so that's stress. That's a self-perpetuating cycle, because how do you start to beat that? And then just the thought of even trying to deal with it can become its own stressor right there. So that's the stage we were in before, and that is like, oh, my heart to you. And to everyone else who's dealing with stuff like that, like if you feel comfortable saying, like, drop in the comments if you've felt that way, if you've dealt with that, if you're going through that right now. We want to know so we can help you. And then you came to boot camp. You somehow found us on Instagram.
In actual fact, it's worth saying I actually didn't come to boot camp because it was between Christmas and New Year, and my husband and I went to go and visit family. So I actually, although I've done boot camp and I've had all the training, I kind of feel like I did miss out on part of that kind of the interactive part, the workshopping and sharing ideas with everybody else, which means that this time it's going to be even better for me.
Oh, game changer.
But I still got so much just out of the recorded version.
So you got to, like, you did Christmas holidays, and then Christmas holiday post that vacation with family, and then you came back, and I know you dove straight into the boot camp replays.
Yes.
I know we have 6 sessions in there. Was there a particular thing, like, was it all in one, or was there a particular part of boot camp that really helped bring you clarity or bring you a path forward?
The very first session, where we were talking about looking back at how last year went, which I was thinking, I don't want to look.
Like, if I don't look, it'll be better than I expect.
Yeah.
If I don't know, it can't hurt me.
Yeah, I just want to forget all of that. I'm trying to move on, but to move on, you have to know where you're coming from. You have to figure out which things you did do right and which things you could have done better. Obviously, I knew quite a lot of things that I could have done better, but and you pick up various trends of what you do. And I have to say, I trained previously as an accountant, and I worked in accountancy for a good number of years. And I thought, what am I going to learn about my figures? I know all about my figures. I check things all the time, daily sales figures and this and that. And what am I going to learn? And oh my God, I don't think if I'd actually sat through live, I would have come up with it. But by having the chance to actually take it slower and stop and think, okay, I haven't had time just there to do all of those numbers. I'm going to pause that, go and do a bit. I had this massive realization that you obviously will have heard of Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, whatever.
Yep.
I had no idea that out of my 5,000 products, 200 of them accounted for 50% of my sales. That has changed straight away. That changed my whole method of ordering stock. So instead of kind of looking at all of the different sections and ordering everything and then masses all coming together, I've now changed things so that every month I'm going through those 200 things and I'm making sure they never run out of stock unless there's a massive run on something, but they are staying in stock, and then everything else I'm ordering on rotation so that I don't have to look at spreadsheets that go on and on and on. I can just focus on a certain amount and I can get that done quicker. And that has already been massive, just being able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, wow. From 5,000 to 200, like that's a manageable number.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm still ordering all the other things, but I'm not feeling like I have to keep everything in stock all the time. You know, and it's allowing me to keep a bit of a lower stock as well, so that obviously I've not got so much money tied up in what's sitting on the shelves. It's more focused towards what I know is going to sell, those key things, and then obviously whatever else I've got in stock on top of that, that's then other things for people to look at. But I need to have those core things, and I had an idea of what my top sellers were, and I probably could have guessed. In fact, I did come out with a fairly accurate guess at what the 200 were, but I had no idea that was half of my sales. So that was huge.
That is such a, that was the 4 days right there, worth it right there in that one session.
I know, that was probably in the first hour. But like I say, I did take some time to think about that and actually do that properly, rather than just, I think it's one of those things where I could have very easily gone into that session thinking, yeah, I know this, I know all about numbers, I'm a numbers person, I'm an accountant, and I might have even skipped over it. But my whole attitude was, you know, that you've spent so much time. I knew that all three of you had spent so much time going through all the stuff so that it all linked in together, and was really cohesive. And I, you know, just need to do the whole thing. You don't pick and choose which bits you're going to do. You do the whole thing, and you do it with an attitude of, you know, how can this work for me?
And that's how you
than, no, I'm not interested in that bit. It's got to be how does it work for me? How can I make this work? How does this apply to my business?
But that right there, just stopping and allowing yourself to be coachable. Because I hear you on there. And it's like, if you're a smarty pants in the room, and it's one of those, yes, I know my numbers. Of course I know my numbers. I can just like half-ass this thing. But no, you didn't do that. You came in and you paid attention. We said to do something and you did it. You're coachable. And that's how people really leapfrog forward, is by allowing yourself to be coachable. That's the word. But that is such like the difference that I see in people and business owners who really make it and make huge strides in their business, versus the ones who you end the year and it maybe did a little better than last year, maybe did a little worse than the year before, but it's very tiny gains and shifts in either direction. It's because you had bad systems that you didn't allow anyone to help you correct. And sometimes it's just one little pivot right there, from 5,000 items to 200 items, being as those priority things. That's such a major shift. I can't wait to see what the bottom line difference is on that in your business by the end of the year.
Absolutely. I've got huge confidence that if we talk again this time next year or after December's bootcamp or whatever, that I'm going to be looking at a very, very different picture next year. There's still there's still plenty of work to do this year, a huge amount of work still to do this year, but I feel like I have got a plan. I have got a plan, and I'm working the plan. And yeah, it all just kind of, it started from session 1, and it just kind of went wove together.
For this, you have to be in bootcamp
the hand
to
signals,
understand on this.
Yeah, each session kind of built on what was there. You absolutely had worked on it together. It wasn't 3 people doing different sessions that didn't work together. It was so obvious that you'd put a lot into thinking, how does this all fit together, as well as what do I need to teach? Which was really
makes the most sense as far as progression, and that's accomplishable. That's the biggest thing. This is not a conference where you're talked at for 4 or 5 days and you take a whole slew of notes. At the end of the day, you're like, what do I do first? This is a full-on action plan that we go through in boot camp.
Ray Jean's big thing about keep saying that, you know, at the end of this, it's all going to be done. Not 100%, but it's not just a to-do list. You've started towards the actions.
And once you've started on those actions, it's much easier to go back in and continue working on them until they are done.
Yes. Yeah,
versus
definitely.
Just going in and being like, what did they say to do again? Like, I was confident until I opened the program and looked at the blank screen and went, oh.
Nothing more frightening than a blank screen.
But question for you on there, because I know you mentioned before, like, you're just on eBay and building your own platform. I know you've been working on your website. So this is just a curiosity of mine. Going in and knowing that 50% of your revenue was coming from just 200 products. Are those the ones you've prioritized putting on the website first?
Mostly, yes. Yeah, it sounds like the answer to that should have been absolutely yes. But the way that I've worked it is I'm not adding each product on one at a time. I'm working on a spreadsheet outside of all of the computer system, and it's easier to do it category by category, but the categories have been prioritized.
All right.
So
all right.
Yep. The ones that had the most of the 200 in were the first ones to go on there. And yeah, we're, in terms of those priority ones, we're probably 75%-ish of those on there, and within the next few days. Well, I've set myself a target of before boot camp, the whole lot's going to be on there.
Woo, all right.
That's one big goal.
That is a mega.
And I feel like I'm on target.
Okay, I love it. And no, that there is no right or wrong answer to that. So you did it in the system that works best for you, because working by category, I totally understand that, but prioritizing the categories, that's a great step.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it that obviously I'm still operating on eBay. That's, in a way, it's slowing things. It'd be great to start from a complete blank slate and just have 100% of my time to spend on doing the things that I want to change. But at the same time, as we've said, I've got responsibilities to other people that mean I need to still be getting my income from eBay. So all of those things are still for sale on eBay. It's really thinking about how people shop. And for example, somebody who buys a lot of glass pearls, which are one of our big sections of stock, about 100 colours in however many sizes, somebody that buys those probably buys those, if not exclusively, then mainly just that. So that was why I went for the kind of product categories, because then at least I can start moving some customers over rather than having them like finding some things and not others that they'd want. So that was the thought behind it.
Yep. And differentiating your baskets here. So talk about not having all of your eggs in one basket, not having all of your products, not getting all of your sales from one platform. I wish I could drop Etsy. but it's still like sales without me doing any work on it, so it's going to stay open.
Absolutely, and it's still a source of customers that can then, it's one of the pathways that people can then enter your world.
Yes.
And then you start working with them where you prefer to work with them. You know,
once they enter in, exactly, then you can direct them as like, go to this door, that door, that door. Which buying platform do I want you on?
Which is all part of that whole overwhelm thing of like, well, this is what I want in the future, but how do I get there?
How do I get there? This is the big picture. We're going to work on this one puzzle piece right here.
Yeah.
And once that's fully painted in, then we can open up the next one. Okay, that is phenomenal. So like so much of that came out just from that first section. Was there another section in boot camp that really changed things for you at all?
Yes, I would say your time management session. Yes, little old you. I have read and tried so many time management techniques and things along the way, but you talked about a way of prioritizing things in terms of mandatory. I wrote these down because I knew I was going to want to say this.
Mandatory,
the mandatory, the maintenance, and the minutiae. And I'd never thought of it in that way, and it just, wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's, and that has also changed how I work a fair bit, in that every day, one of my sort of USPs is that we'll give same day dispatch to orders as long as they come in by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the postman comes at about 3 o'clock, and then that's the day's like maintenance stuff all done, if you like. So thinking about, you know, blocking out that time as to up to 3 o'clock is when we're doing that kind of stuff, but also how much of that can I get my assistant Janet to be working on? How much can she do, and how little can I do so that I can be doing other things? And she's been fantastic as well. She's really appreciated being given extra, I think that she's appreciating getting more responsibility and getting more things to do. Yeah, she's stepping up, and she's sort of suggesting things now as well. You know, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I go and take some photos? Fantastic. Yeah, brilliant.
So you gave her a little bit of agency, a little bit more responsibility, and then she's flowering underneath it, that sounds.
Absolutely. And I've got my time a bit more scheduled in terms of what I'm doing in what blocks of time. And I tend to work, I'm not a morning person, but that's not a problem because she comes in and does the earlier stuff, and I'll come in a bit later. And after 3 o'clock, I've then got until I go home, which tends to be fairly late in the evening. So yeah, so I get my block of time that way, and I hadn't really thought about it like that. I'd kind of felt like I need to be here all the time that she's here and whatever, but actually I gave myself permission to kind of look at things a bit of a different way, and it seems to be working.
Yay. So you've been doing it for like coming up on 3 months now, so it seems to be working. That's fantastic. And I love that it's like for those of you who are like, wait, what were those systems again? My 3M system for time management, it's just one facet of it, is that your tasks in your day is broken in, or your task list for your day is broken into 3 categories. You have your mandatory things, the things that are high priority that you have to get done. You have the maintenance things, which is just the stuff that happens every day. Filling orders, shipping orders is a maintenance task. It's dependable. You know, you have to do it every day. And then there's the minutia. There's the stuff that you put off, and unless it shifts into a mandatory, usually it's the stuff that if you let it go, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And when you can build and sort your task list into these things, it makes the day run so much smoother. And if you can combine that with knowing when your high energy, when your best work time is to do those mandatory things, your day has become a powerhouse now.
That's what I feel like I'm getting there, achieving. I'm not going to say that I'm the productivity goddess or anything like that. But yeah,
I'm
moving in the right direction
because I suck at it. So
I think that's where I'm trying to come from as well, that I'm having to work hard at it, but it's paying off. Yeah.
The days that do utilize the systems, they all work amazingly. It's the days when I'd be like, oh, we're just gonna do this without attacking the day with a plan, then the day's just going to shit. So I can admit it. I'm so glad that is working so well for you right there. And it's like one of those things that my own coaches used to hammer in, and I didn't really get it. And it's still an evolving thing, but they're like, protect the calendar at all costs. Protect the calendar. If you have time blocks set aside, like I love what you were saying about the afternoon, you have a couple of hours, it's like, boom, that is your work time. That is sacred work time.
Yeah. And one of the good things is that my assistant she works until the postman comes, and then she goes home, and that then leaves me free to focus on what I need to focus on.
And not worrying about chit chat or entertaining or finding more tasks. You're able, you have a dedicated work site and work time. That's great.
Yeah. And I think if I was going to sum up as well, like why I feel like I've got so much out of it all, and why I just felt like I'd found my people, and you just, I couldn't even tell you what it was. I was trying to remember, how did I even come across you guys in the first place? And I think it was through finding out about your jewelry, and then finding out about the other things that you did, and then obviously the Andrew and Regine, and you work brilliantly all together. You're all different characters, but you work really well together. And
word for us.
Yeah. And I just felt like I'd found my people. There's never any judgment. There's so much enthusiasm. There's so much. I feel like you'd give me a hard time if I was obviously not doing what I should be doing, and that I, wasn't.
I mean, there's course correction. If we see you going off onto left field chasing a shiny object, like, is that really important? Right? Come back to the plan. This way.
Exactly.
Over here.
I couldn't find the words for that, but that is exactly. Yeah, that's it exactly. And at the same time, you've still got like you're full of ideas about, oh, you could do this in your business, you could do that. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is fantastic. But no, it's a shiny object. Just write it down and put that aside for a while.
And put it into the 2023 plan. Can revisit on there.
Yeah. I can't tell you as well how positive, how brilliant it is to find people that I don't have to go, oh yeah, business is great. I can be real. Not every day is great. My husband doesn't get it. When I was sort of saying last year about things are a real nightmare, I don't know what I'm going to do about this, his answer was, well, you could go and get a job in the supermarket. Not really. That's not really what I had in mind.
No. But
he's not, he doesn't work for himself. He doesn't get all of the sometimes you just need to go home and vent, whereas he's a kind of wants to be a problem solver, and if you can't find the answer to that, we'll just stop playing that game then and go and do something else. And none of my close friends, none of my family are business owners, so it's just so brilliant to have a community of like-minded people to share with. Share good points and bad points and get advice from, and and I'd like to hope, like giving advice, sharing ideas between us as well. It's not just
phenomenal in the community. Yes.
in the Biz Fit community, and also in the syndicate as well. I'm sort of getting to know quite a lot about soap making with Debbie, and
it's so funny as you get,
it's brilliant.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say it's brilliant to share ideas and get different perspectives on people that've got a slightly different type of business. That, I know a lot of the people that you work with are obviously handmade businesses. I'm that step away. I'm the person that supplies people with the stuff for their handmade businesses. But even that doesn't matter, that I'm not in the exact same kind of business, because everything that you're teaching can apply across the board.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I find it very funny, and I don't know if it's funny haha or if it's funny ironic. I'm really not sure. But when you find your crew, when you find the group of people, it's like, yes, we click. This is a fit. This is the community that I belong to. And then you look at the rest of the world and you go like, what's wrong with them? Like, why don't they get it? I have to constantly remind myself, because the people that I choose to spend my time with are all entrepreneurs. And then I look at people who have a 9-to-5 and I'm like, there's so much potential. Why are you doing that? Like, yes, I'm very happy that there are people who work at Home Goods to check me out when I go and I buy photo props. That's my excuse for shopping at Home Goods, is that I'm buying photo props. But it's more, Melissa wants this. Could it be a photo prop? Yes. If yes, buy. If no, are you sure it couldn't be a photo prop? Buy it anyway.
Anything could be a photo prop if you want it to be.
Anything.
Yeah.
There are times I'm so jealous of photographers. Like, yeah, everything is a tax write-off. Photography, especially, like, they are lucky people. They, I'm sure, would think differently. But still, it's like when you get into that group and then you talk to other people, it's like, how do you not get it?
Yeah, and you realize when you haven't got somebody like that you can talk to when you go home, that not everybody is like that. But I'm glad I found some people that are.
They don't have that shared experience of being through something like boot camp together. They don't have, and I know you weren't together at that point, but you will be with us in the Q2 boot camp together. They don't have the vocabulary, they don't have the interest, and you try to hold a conversation and it's like you're speaking two different languages. And everyone who has a job together, like, they seem to have their own language, their own community, their own stressors that they can. I do get jealous of the people who can go home at the end of the night and just sit back and binge Netflix all the time. Like, that must be nice. Like, the only shows I binge on Netflix are ones designed for 4-year-olds, because when I'm watching him, that's what we do. He's a 4-year-old. I can't, like, tune into the computer while he's doing stuff. It don't work that way. Not with him, at least. But they talk about the latest movies and all that. It's like, where'd you find time for that? Like, weren't you doing cool things? I'm just throwing shade on the rest of the world. Were you doing fun things like being in a business and changing people's lives, providing the best colorful like color ranges and beads to people to ignite their imaginations? Or for me, it's like I'm constantly, it's like, how do we up-level the packaging experience for my fans? When I'm in the jewelry world, how do I build more confidence into people?
Yeah, I guess the thing about when you're saying about working for yourself and being entrepreneurial, it's like I kind of want to use my business to help other people to be like that as well. So that's, again, more steps of what's to come once I've got the basic website set up. The next thing's going to be focusing on what else can I do other than just selling beads to help people to make that transition into having a little business of their own as well,
and being a profitable business, not a monster. I like the business you can pet and money comes out, not the one that tries to bite you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that analogy worked right there, but
let's face it, everybody could do with a bit more money at the moment.
Yes.
So.
And money is not evil. It means that you can do more good in the world. So
absolutely.
And I love it right here. You're talking about like giving resources and stuff, because I feel like, and feel free to disagree with me if you want, like everyone knows about the travel bug and people get bit by the travel bug and now they want to go travel. I want people to get bit by the business owner bug and now they want to start businesses.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it.
I want to exactly I feel like so much of the world is just wearing blinders. And really, I do know it is a unique person. There's like less than 10% of us that have the capability, I don't want to say the capability, but have the vision and then can build the self-disciplined routines to fulfill that vision. Because it's never lack of vision. That's not what holds people back. It's the ability to build routines that work in success routines. That's where people fall down. I fall down on that every once in a while. Like I totally get it. But getting that bug, like getting that bite, getting that taste of having a vision and being able to fulfill it, like that's powerful.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's kind of inspired me as well is kind of now that I've got into social media a bit, seeing how many people seem to kind of make something pretty, take a photo of it, put it on social media, DM me to buy, message on bottom, and you just think, oh, I want to get hold of you and tell you that there's a better way than this, rather than making one thing. You know, it's great that they are kind of. I think it's fantastic that we've evolved to a point where so much can be done online that can work. But obviously you as a handmade coach totally know that there's better ways to do that, creating collections and, you know, something that's replicable, is that the word?
Yes. Yep.
Replicable. So that you can, you know, so that you can market it and sell 10 of them or 100 of them or whatever. So yeah, I've got all sorts of good ideas. Not that I'm suddenly going to become the new Melissa Pikul, because there can only be one.
I probably touched on the special side, so
I think some of my future will be helping people to find you and the other people that are helping me along the way as well.
And I would have loved that when I started, if my jewelry suppliers actually had tools to help build businesses, because that's where I'm already spending my time as a jewelry designer, is sourcing the supplies. If I'm already there, if I'm already on those websites, already utilizing those people, I already trust them because I bought from them and I received a physical product that I loved. They're the ones I'm going to go to first. Be like, oh, you have a recommendation for this? You have a resource for that? And become like such a central hub. And that is powerful.
Oh, I'm getting excited again just thinking about it.
That one's the Melissa effect. So yes, all right. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, Nick. Thank you so much for coming on. So you did boot camp on the replays. And that's amazing because you can pause. You're probably gonna wish that you can hit pause on me in live boot camp, but that's why you get replays. And
absolutely.
I know there are plenty of people who wish that they could hit slow down. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you should be watching this on YouTube, there is a Chrome extension called Video Speed Controller. And if I talk too fast to you, but you really love what I'm doing, I will have a YouTube video coming out that showcases how you can actually slow me down if you want to. That might encourage me to talk even faster, but I take that as an active challenge. So I'm gonna stop right there. But that is coming up soon on the channel as the Video Speed, talking to you guys about the Video Speed Controller, which is amazing if you're on Google Chrome and game changing. to slow people down, or if you're someone like me, I need to speed everybody else up. So I'm from New York. All right, so thank you so much, Nick, for coming on here. Do you have any final words for the Pikul Peeps or anyone who might be considering joining us on Bootcamp for Q2? We do these boot camps quarterly because it's great to have an overall vision and a plan for your year, but now you got to check in and see, am I fulfilling on the steps to get me to my goals? And do I need to pivot anything to better reach my goals for the year?
Well, my biggest goal for the first quarter was to get the website up and running with pretty much all of the products on there. There's going to be a lot of finessing to do, and SEO is like an ongoing thing and other aspects, but I had in mind to get that finished so that I can then look at the next phase. And so even if you did a really detailed goal setting exercise at the start of the year, or your New Year's resolutions, it is definitely worth checking in, because I'm still working into the same overall plan, but I do want to go back and reassess priorities.
Yep.
See what fits in best at which times, and then there's the next 12 weeks of social media to get written, and the next 12 weeks of emails to get written. And Bootcamp's going to help with all of that, obviously. And
plan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I feel like I found my people, and the way that you work has really, really helped me. And having access to the Biz Fit group as well, to sort of share with the other people in there all the way through, is brilliant. So if you want to be a part of that, there's just no reason not to do it. Just do it, and as we say, do it now.
You are on the inside joke now.
Absolutely. Do it now.
Raise your prices. Okay, Nick, thank you so much for being on here, for coming on to the Handmade How. Heads up, people, we might be having a name change coming up sometime soon. Like, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but there is new amazing stuff coming here with Melissa Pikul. And yeah, Nick knows some of it. You're a true insider here. But yeah, so we're not going to talk about that today, but do keep an eye for that training on video speed controllers. That's coming up pretty soon, and that will really change how you're able to take in trainings of all sorts, because how much time a day do we spend on trainings? Like, and when you get those boot camp replays, because you're coming to boot camp and then you get the replays, and the replays put you back in the room and the mental state of when you're going through it, but sometimes you have to scrub through to find the spot that you wanted to. You're going to want that video speed controller. Okay. All of that done. Again, Nick, thank you. And if Pikul Peeps want to find you, if they want to learn more about your amazing color sources, and like, you guys heard it before. What'd you say? No black, white, or gray. We are all color. Shoot,
color all the way.
Color all the way.
But we do black, white, and gray as well.
Not gonna lie, I do a lot of black, white, and gray. But yes, where can everybody find you?
Okay, the website is chromabeads.co.uk, and on Facebook we're Chromabeads, and Instagram it's Chromabeads UK.
Excellent. So everyone, Pikul Peeps, those links will all be down below in the descriptions. You have full access to Nick, and you can check out all the amazing colors. It's like the Skittles commercial. The colors, dude, the colors. Enjoy. All right, everyone, we'll see you on the next one, and the link will be down below so that you can get your ticket to boot camp. You don't want to miss it. All right, everyone, bye.